Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are SocialBlade.
All right, so hopefully if all went well, that intro was actually played. I couldn't hear anything. No one else could either. Well, no, Pat was just saying that. So this is the official SocialBlade reunion here. And we got almost the whole game back together. JD's the only one missing. Let's go through and introduce ourselves just so people know who we are here. So I'm the one with 2 videos, Jason Ergo here.
Ergo number 1, Ergo number 2.
I'm Aaron Ryan.
I'm Jeff Cratter.
I'm Victor Barrera.
And that's Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick doesn't want to say hi. Yeah, Patrick Priest as well.
I think, is he frozen?
No, he's not frozen. He's
No,
moving.
he's good.
Well,
Yeah, he's moving.
one of the things we really wanted to just kind of do is, it's been a long time since we did SocialBlade. I think it's been a few months, and we all really wanted to get together after, Mario Marathon and kind of seeing how, Mario Marathon went and, see what everyone's been up to and see what, you guys, the audience, have been up to. And I know a lot of us here on the call, I know Aaron, Ergo, Patrick, Victor, myself, and JD have all been up to a lot since we've been gone, since we've stopped doing the show in our own way. But we thought it would be a great opportunity to come on and just get the crew back together, get you guys back together, spit some knowledge, and see what everyone's up to, especially you guys in the audience. We kind of really want to see what you guys are up to as well. So, kind of starting this off, Ergo has been doing some, fascinating things with SocialBlade.com, and he's getting a lot of traction with it. Ergo, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. So I guess it's kind of funny in a weird way. It's sort of the day that we decided to put the show on hold at least a little bit was sort of the same day that we got a huge shout out with SocialBlade, the YouTube stats site that I've been working on really for the past, actually it's almost a full year now. So the YouTube stats site's doing really, really well. We're getting, as you see here, there's about 62,000 users that are being tracked daily, and a good number of them are hourly also. There's well over 500,000 people or page views on the page every month now. So I mean, it's doing really well. A lot of people are using it to check it out. What you can do on there if you're not familiar with it is basically look at all your YouTube statistics, and you can see sort of how you rank against everyone else. You can also, one of the cool features that people really like is the estimated earnings also on here, where you can see how much big channels are making as well as your own statistics. And if you're not a partner on YouTube already, you can sort of see what you could make if you were one. So I've been just really busy on that, adding new features. If you see on there, I was sort of showing also this SB score thing. If you're familiar with Clout, it sort of is the same thing, but for YouTube. So you can see, if you might not have a lot of subscribers, but you have a good network and you're getting a lot of views, you'll get a high SB score. So that's really what I've been up to for the most part.
Also, now YouTube has just kind of recently released. I mean, you can preview. Was it their Cosmo Panda?
Cosmic Panda, yeah.
Cosmic Panda. What do you think of that?
Well, they actually launched the YouTube version of it, or sorry, the player version of it already now. So if you watch any video on YouTube, you will get to see it a little bit. The player itself, I do like. It is a much cleaner player where you can, it's all dark. It doesn't have as much light colors there, and they hide things off the screen a little bit more. So I do like that. The channel pages, I'm not 100% sold on it. Yeah, I was reading actually some commentary from YouTube on it, and they're saying that most people don't actually watch videos on those pages, and they're just trying to sort of optimize it to make it so people get to videos quicker and watch them. So I don't know. I'm not 100% sold on it yet, but that is at least their reasoning on why they're doing it. So, what do you guys think on it?
Yeah, so is that all that you've been up to? Because that sounds like a lot, Ergo. I haven't tried it, so.
Well, I mean, since we did the show, you finished your
But it's worth
365 days. You finished
Oh,
your orbit.
that's true. That's true. Yes. Yeah, I was doing a video a day, and yeah, I finished that in May. So yeah, that was a really interesting project as well. And you know, doing a video every day without skipping a single day was a pretty cool accomplishment, I thought. And I'm still doing videos, just not daily on there.
Look. I tried it for a week, okay? I was sweating bullets, the orbit. I tried to do it for a whole week, and I was like, I cannot do this. This is just too much. It was stressing me out. Like, I was feeling like, okay, I really want to do it because it would be so awesome to document, like, your life, you know, looking back over a year. But unfortunately, you just kind of feel like, okay, is my life that interesting? And then in the orbit and their comments and got to watch their videos. And I mean, I like YouTube, don't get me wrong, but I don't love it that much.
Speaking of which, Aaron, we actually
So I quit.
we actually have a video here made especially for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aaron 9, or I don't think that's how you actually say it, but this is Cosmic Panda also. I was trying to bring it up so you guys could see, and you see it has the whole dark look on the page there, but the channel page is just really strange here now. You know, it doesn't. You can't actually watch the video from it, and it has the whole thing on the side here and the different videos and playlists down here. So.
What I did find kind of cool, though, is when you're on a channel feature and you're watching the video featured, you can click out of it and still be watching it in the top left corner. Did you know that?
Well, sorry, what do I click on?
If you go to your channel,
Yeah, I'm on the channel.
click on a video, and it should like bring it up and highlight that video. And if you click out, it goes up to the left corner, the top left corner of your screen, and it'll keep playing.
What do I? Where
Like
is it?
close out or
Close
something
what?
now. Like
Close what?
try to go
I-
back to your channel. I don't know.
do-
I did it a couple times.
Okay, I'm not sure what you're getting at, but I do also like this little bar down here. We hear you, Pat.
Okay, good.
So I do like the bar down below.
We can hear
where
you,
you can
Pat.
look at other videos also. So I do think that's pretty cool. So the video pages themselves I like, but I'm not sure about the rest.
I hate it. I'll be completely
Yeah.
honest.
I haven't tried it, but I thought it was only for. It's only for partners, though, isn't it? Like, can you
No.
try it? Is it
No,
only
you
for
can
try it.
Everybody?
You just go to youtube.com/cosmicpanda and you can opt in, and if you want to turn it off after, you can go back to the same page. So
Oh,
just-
because I'm not liking the look of it right there.
Well, I can't
didn't like the look
figure
of
out. I can't figure out how to get it go backwards. To get it to go back.
again, you go to youtube.com/cosmicpanda.
Oh,
and,
there you go.
You click older version if you want to go back.
Ah.
And now I'm out.
Can you hold my hand and do it for me?
Walk him through it.
So Aaron, what have you been up to the past 3 months or 4 months?
You know, I've been busy with work, and I've also been busy with various blogs that I love to write for. I've been researching a lot of social media and taking care of my Facebook knowledge, as well as now learning about Google+, which I have so much to say about it. And I wrote on Facebook today, I'm like, I have so much to say about Google+, but I don't think you're going to like it.
Aaron, hold on. I have one question for you.
And I'll just get my 2 cents in. What?
Okay. I was just going to say, we're doing this on Google Plus now. We could switch to Facebook if you want. Can we? I don't think we can.
Oh, we can't because it doesn't have Hangout. Don't pull a JD. You can't even pull it off. Try it. JD
hey,
actually
Aaron,
said that to me the other day, which was clever.
Hey, Aaron.
And
Aaron.
yeah.
Maybe we should suggest going to Twitter.
Hey, Pat.
I'm
Yes,
getting
you
a
have to be on
freaking
my
ad.
site, which I'm so excited. and I love you, Pat. Oh, you were wearing your SocialBlade shirt. How sweet. Um, okay, so Google Plus, I see it as its own platform. Just want to get my 2 cents in because I know Victor says he's already tired of talking about it. I am in a sense too, because it seems like we've been talking about it a lot in the last few days with various people. A lot of the hatred that I see going on regarding the failure of Facebook now that something new and shiny has come out is kind of disappointing. I'm feeling as though we're not being very social doing that. I do understand that there has to be one hierarchy, but let's get real. I mean, everybody's going crazy because there's 10 million almost users on a closed environment. There's a lot of noise. I've got to be honest. There's a lot of trolling happening. And, I don't really like comparing the two because the two platforms are very, very different. With that said, I'm going to try to learn everything I possibly can about Google Plus because I do enjoy it. I think that it does have great potential, but right now it's closed. My biggest concerns with Google Plus is that it's going to have too much noise. I've had to hide so many posts, which is unfortunate. I've never hidden a post, ever since I've been on Facebook, never. So I'm really disappointed in that because I don't think we need to have the trolling aspect. And now, for the first time, I'm actually understanding why Facebook is closed to family and friends. This is the first time because, everybody's like, why don't they just open it like Twitter? And I'm seeing for the first time, no, I don't have too many friends. I don't. I promise, Stefan or Steven. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. But, my opinion is just that, I have this conversation. You guys can even see it on G Plus if you're there. I had a troll conversation today, which I didn't think I was having a trolling conversation, and I got trolled. Let's just say that. And I thought I was having an intelligent conversation with somebody that some of you guys know as well, and I wasn't. And it was just disappointing because it was like, trolls are trolls. I don't care about that factor, but it was just like, on Facebook, you're going to have conversations with people that you really want to have conversations with. And I took the opportunity and the chance on Google Plus with somebody I don't know. And it just turns out, and it just seems like that seems to be repetitive. And also, last thing, I promise it's the last thing, unless you guys banter off me, but the pictures. It's just like Groundhog Day every day over and over and over again. I love that we love to share, but it is a bit much. It's a bit crazy. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on Google Plus thus far.
Wait, so let me get this straight. So you're having issues with trolls on Google Plus? Is that one of your major drawbacks in terms of why you don't prefer to use it over Facebook?
It's one of my major drawbacks, and it really opened my eyes to why, I'm really happy that Facebook is
Before the show started.
All right, you guys are back.
Before the show started.
All right, you guys are back.
Yeah. Okay, we do have echo. Though.
No, echo's fixed. Echo's fixed.
Okay. So yeah, basically, I do find there's a lot of trolls, and it is funny in some sense. It reminds me of the old Dig a little bit when someone posts something and these are the battle of comments, and I'm really enjoying them. But at the same time, I'm enjoying them more as a viewer than as a participant, and that's kind of annoying. I love these hangouts. and getting to know new people. It's a great way for networking, and I'd love to see what it's going to do for businesses. But Victor, to answer your question, I do find there's a lot of trolls on there. I do find that there's a lot of people just posting just to post, and there's no real value yet.
Are you
That's
feeding them, Aaron?
And then when I go to,
because if you're feeding them,
I did feed one today.
That might be
actually.
a problem right there. Is rule number one: don't
feed the trolls.
Nom 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 nom.
Don't feed the trolls. Which my friends, by the way, I do not normally feed trolls, but someone sucked me in by being very intelligent. And then by the end of it, became very unintelligent, and I was like, "Wow, okay, go back to under your bridge. We're good."
Yeah, no, it's.
But,
I mean, it was obviously a trap.
Feed the trolls.
I mean, like that's what good trolls do. They extend some sort of olive branch with like interesting intellectual conversations, and as soon as you're kind of with them, they hit you when you're most vulnerable, when you're like right there
predator.
kind of buying into something. No, good trolls, I mean, they're deceptive. They're not just troll, because as soon as you see you can see those trolls coming a mile away,
Okay.
But here's the thing, as with any platform,
and
trolls are
that's
part of the ecosystem.
Which I completely agree. I can completely agree. But that just proves my point when it comes to why I would still prefer Facebook. Because I'm still choosing a lot of the people that I'm interacting with, and I don't have that issue.
I think it comes down, guys. I think it comes down to two things. Like on Facebook, yes, you are controlling your circle, so that maybe comes down to a personality type that doesn't want to expand your circle and wants to socialize with the people that you know. Now, Google+, what I really love about it is I've been able to start meeting some new people. Like, I've been in Hangouts with some Google engineers in the past couple of days and some other random different developers that friends of my friends know. And I've been having actually some really interesting conversations as a result of this. So, I mean, yes, I see the aspect of you liking Facebook because you like your closed circle. But Google Plus is letting you have like a larger circle and meet people that are sort of, if you do it right at least, meet people that your friends are friends of.
This is why it's kind of broken into two. Like you can take social platforms and split them into two ways. You have symmetrical social platforms and asymmetrical. So like symmetrical is like Facebook and LinkedIn, where you have to friend and they have to friend you back. Whereas like a Twitter or Google Plus or Tumblr is asymmetrical, where you can just, friend someone, but they don't have to follow you back. I like the asymmetrical side because it allows for serendipity, like Ergo was saying, that allows that, that bump into a Google engineer, bump in and have that conversation that you wouldn't normally have in a symmetrical setting. Now, what they need to change is, and this is what I've sort of done coming up to, maybe them making this change, is I've broken down my circles. And then, like, for people that I don't really hang out with or people I don't really know, I put them into a everyone else or just like just a bin, because what I'm hoping is going to happen is you can like turn off the filter. So like right now you can export content out to your circles and choose who you want to see. I'm hoping that you'll be able to turn off circles at a later date, because if they do that and if they add that feature, it will be a feature that no other social platform has, and you can just eliminate the noise and have complete control over the filter inward and the filter outward.
But to an extent you can kind of already do that, but in a less permanent manner. For instance, I'm here on Google Plus right now, and I have all my circles kind of lined up, and I can switch from circle to circle. Because I got really specific when I was creating them. Like I have one for just strictly tech journalists, one for just social media friends, one for environmental people, one for video game people, one for esports people. And so as I go down the list, I feel that because of the way the UI is designed, that in terms of switching from circle to circle to circle, I mean, I guess the thing is why would you need to shut them off if you can always key in on certain circles at any given moment in time?
What I actually recommended, I left this as a feedback. Hold on there. I left this as a feedback to them. I requested something that I called super circles, where you'd be able to sort of define a circle of other circles also. So if you had a circle of all your different types of video games, you could make one called video games. So you could see that circle in a whole. Or it would also do what Jeff wants. You could make a circle of the 5 circles that you want to look at more often and have your noisy circles in a different section. So
who put the poll up?
I did.
Okay, How come, I got a question, Google Plus and Twitter or Facebook, people pick 6.
Right, so that I put the choices so you could pick either Twitter, you could pick Facebook, or Google Plus, like one or the other. But then also, what I personally think, well, that's Google Plus and Twitter or Facebook. It could be in. You can only have 4 choices. But so that's sort of saying that it looks like most people are saying that they want to use Google Plus and something else, not just Google Plus and not just Facebook.
Yeah, I mean that's the same here, and I just want to follow up.
And Facebook one.
I just want to. Yeah, I mean, you mean minus Google Plus? Well, I guess because we're talking about it, but I just want to follow up. It's not because of the closed off situation. I love meeting new people. Do not get me wrong. I've actually organized my circles, but there's still people that can see my stuff. Like this person that was interacting with me, I was not in his circle and he was not in my circle.
Well, can't they do it on Twitter anyway?
So it's just that it's open up, and
it was a friend of your friend, probably. It was probably a friend of your friend. But they can't do it in more
than 140 characters. Right, exactly, like you, for example. So, anyways, I just wanted to say that, not only that, I mean, I like the public aspect of it, but I can see why Facebook stayed closed, and I'm glad for that. It kind of rejuvenates me every time I go back to Facebook and see that there's actual valued posts as opposed to when I go to Google Plus. Google Plus is more like, oh, hey, let's go goof off more. Whereas I find I do get more quality out of Facebook, and maybe it's just because, maybe it is because of the people that I have friended. But yet, I'm going to tell you that on Facebook, I accept people I don't know as well. So I haven't stayed in just like this niche of saying, okay, well, I'm just going to stay closed off to people. But I just noticed that people, I don't know if it's because Google's so new, but they're just a little bit more respectful there. As well as I wish that Hangouts you could invite, instead of certain circles, you could invite people from within certain circles.
You can.
Individually, instead of having to type either one name by one name by one name. How?
Well, I don't know how you would otherwise.
Here's something I read in one of the Google Plus threads. And I want to get your insights on this. Is to me, Google Plus is very much like a Twitter and a Tumblr mix. You have the asymmetrical, but you have sort of the Tumblr newsfeed in a sense. Now, what someone brought up, which was really interesting, was that Google Plus is sort of going into the trend where design and aesthetics aren't really the focus, but where the focus is really in terms of the information shared. So, where a blog or Tumblr blog, your Facebook page, your Twitter background, all that stuff is just a distraction from what really is important, which is the information, the value passed along from person to person. And they're basically saying that Google Plus is reinforcing this trend towards pure information without aesthetics, and that design and uniqueness is in the content, not so much now in what everything looks like.
I mean, I see what you're saying, Jeff, and I'm hoping that there's something that does change on Google Plus, especially because once that's rolled out to the public, it's just going to be pure, crazy, hectic. I'm not going to enjoy it, completely at all. But there are certain aspects of it that I do enjoy, and I see such possibility with it. But at the same time, it's like, right now, it just feels like I'm a part of another social network. I don't feel the wow factor of it.
Oh,
whereas when Facebook just rolled out, it was like, wow, this is amazing. This is something so different. And, to all those people that are saying that, G Plus is going to kill Facebook, perhaps in a few years, but let's look at like 750 million people
There's
on
no
Facebook.
killers in it. It's not a killer.
50%.
Also, something to note is that...
if JD was here, I can tell you right now, JD would completely disagree.
Well, here's the thing. You have to understand the perspective that everyone's kind of in terms of evaluating the early stages of Google+. I mean, we're all early adopters of that service, but what is an early adopter nowadays? I mean, Larry Page updated on Google+ that they just hit the 10 million member registration mark, and in terms of people who are just early adopters, that's a hell of a lot of early adopters. And so if that's any indication, I mean, there's so much upside. I mean, you know, in terms of how they integrate, you know, a few factors, which is one, social connection. Obviously, you know, having your stuff public, but at the same time being able to share certain things with just certain circles and stuff. And then the next is the robustness of their platform. I mean, I have already felt that Google Plus is sort of a breath of fresh air. That compared to my Facebook newsfeed, I mean my specific newsfeed, that this has been really interesting in terms of experimenting with different ways to kind of take in all this information, you know. And a lot of the times it's stuff that, you know, maybe isn't all that interesting, but at the same time I can mute those posts pretty much immediately. If, you know, I'm not interested in a certain picture or any resulting conversation, I can make it disappear from my feed forever, you know. And so I think in terms of, you know, the flexibility to consume.
You can do that on Facebook too.
No, you can. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying, in terms of good things about Google Plus right off the bat, I think there's more good things than bad things. Whereas Facebook, I mean, look how long it took them to evolve to the certain point. I remember signing up via my EDU email address when I was in college, and this was back in like, I don't know, I want to say like 05, 04, something like that. You know, it was still really fresh and new, and it was limited because, you know, the platform wasn't all that great. It was just going. There wasn't a lot of people on it. But as the platform became more sophisticated, as more people started using it, as it kind of became the norm, it really was able to shine as a network of not just people, but people that I'm interested in learning about, people that I'm interested in getting to know. And I can already feel that Google Plus is kind of on that road. I mean, it's been out, I mean, for most of us for what, maybe like a week now. And you know, I'm already pretty impressed with what they've been able to do in a week. I mean, imagine where Facebook was in a week. Obviously, it's hard to compare because they're two totally different eras of kind of technology. And so, I mean, in terms of upside, I mean, this is so much better, so much more powerful than Wave was. And I remember when Wave was, you know, launched, there was a lot of hubbub about getting invites to Wave, and you know, once we were on it, it was like, okay, what's all the fuss about again? And it was really weird, you know, like we were on it for like maybe a month, and then after that month, I probably didn't check it again just because it kind of fell flat. Like I'm not sure they got enough people to really use the service initially, whereas I feel they're not shooting themselves in the foot with that problem. Like they have plenty of people using the service, and there's only going to be more people here in the near future. So
that wasn't the problem with Wave. It just was. It was a cool idea, but it just wasn't implemented. Well, not even that. It just wasn't what people needed. I mean, it's good. It's good in some instances, but it wasn't good for what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching animated videos, like that one guy who did the animated intro video who tried to get a Google Wave invite, who ended up getting hired by Google. Like this guy was like positing Wave as like the end all be all. Like it was supposed to replace email theoretically back in that day. You know,
I definitely agreed with them when they first were talking about Wave. Like when I heard about it, I thought, wow, this was pretty cool watching the video. But as soon as I got the invite, I got invited right away with the developers. I tried it out and I was like, not going to work. It just, I predicted right away that it wasn't going to. And the same thing with Buzz. When I first started with Buzz, I knew right away that it just wasn't going to take off. This, though, I am saying that I really do think that this is going to take off. And I mean, it has everything that people want. It has some innovative features like Hangouts here. They're actively developing it. I mean, if we made this public, there would have been probably a good chance that we would have gotten someone from Google even just to join us here. I mean, they're actively working on this. And I just think that, and then plus, I mean, with the whole weight of Google in that little bar at the top of the screen with the notifications, it's going to follow you when you do your Google searches. It's going to show up when you're in your Google Reader. It's going to show up when you're looking at your email. So, I mean, you're not going to be able to get away from it. So it's going to be there.
Well, I think, you know, I think the conversation needs to stop being
Google
like,
has finally...
I think we need to stop saying like what's going to be the next killer, because I think now what we're saying is how is it going to work in this big ecosystem of social networking. There's not really going to be the Facebook killer, the Twitter killer, the Tumblr killer. You know, it's how is everything going to work within an ecosystem. And I will say this about Google Plus, and then I'll quickly turn it over to Aaron. Is, you know, one thing that none of the other social platforms have is 1, a browser, 2, a robust library of applications, 3, going into TV, 4, you know, phones, So you have a ridiculous amount of, what is it, like 300,000 to 500,000 Android phones activated every single day.
Right.
And then you have 2 million
550.
users, 550. Then you have 200 or 2 million, or was it 200 million accounts on Gmail. I mean, the potential is there for this to be adopted mainstream. I mean, they have everything they need, and if they really do a good job of implementing this and mainstream adopting this, it will be that connector piece that they've been looking for a long time to link all of their applications, their browser, their phone, their TV all together, and create a huge sphere of a product.
Can I make a mention about something that at this point Facebook is still ahead, and I'm looking at this as a parent. Facebook's still ahead of Google Plus in the sense that there's more people on Facebook. I know that could change or will change or whatever your opinion is, but as a parent, I can keep an eye on what my kid's doing, saying, and reacting to. The invites, I know I have 8 to give out now, and contact me, and you're more than welcome to have one of them. But other than that, with my kids out there, I can keep an eye on what they're saying, doing, and monitor them from stuff that you can't normally do.
Well, Pat, as a parent, I mean, the best thing to do is, make sure you have their login information so you can use their account there or monitor them while they're using it. Well, I'm just saying, they could easily have a private conversation on Facebook, and you wouldn't see that. You would have no idea what's going on.
True.
So you can't monitor them unless you have access to their account.
True. I absolutely agree and understand. Go ahead, Aaron.
No, Pat has more. He's making sense there because Facebook is a little bit safer for, kids, and I say kids lightly, with them being teenagers, because he can then be able to go. He doesn't have to know their login. He can say log in and check to see each one that wants to friend his kid and say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And some parents do that. I actually see that on TV shows, documentaries. So I'm just saying that with Google Plus, it is a little scary. Yeah, it is a little scary for the parents out there, I would have to say, because it's not a safe environment, just like any other chat room isn't.
And I'll build upon your point there and say that, one of the obstacles Google is going to have to overcome is Google's not, how can I put it, very easy to, not navigate, but there's a lot to it. I mean, you create an account, you go in the back end, there's a lot that you have to offer. Whereas in Facebook, it's you create an account, you got the profile page. It's opening the barn doors and seeing the entire pasture and trying to find your way as a kid, not as an early adopter at that, is quite daunting.
Mm-hmm. I'll agree. And,
right, and I like that.
Aaron and I are on a delay.
We are. I'm waiting for you, Pat. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, if we could just, while he's here, let's recognize Ricochet Biscuit. Ergo, you want to take over that and thank him for helping us out from the early days all the way through the show. Dave, Hot Hardware.
Yeah, I guess back years ago when we were doing the regular show, Dave was one of our sponsors. So, thanks, Dave.
Oh, the regular show?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was the sponsor.
Is there a decaffeinated show?
Well, Pat, he was our sponsor for the first year. After that, he wasn't the sponsor at that point. So it was a while ago. It was when you were with us.
Okay. Thank you, Dave. I'll thank you.
Yeah, he's a good friend to the show, absolutely. As are many other people out there too. But I wanted to switch topics a little bit here and just, we found out what I've been up to, what Ergo's been up to, but I'd love to hear what the rest of us have been up to.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to just switch it over to Jeff Kreider. Kreider, why don't you tell us what you've been up to since we last were on this wonderful screen together?
Oh, wow. Just a lot. Doing a lot of great things at Lebanon Ford. I don't know if those of you who are just kind of tuning in and don't know anything about me. I'm the marketing director at a local Ford dealership, trying to transition that dealership to become more of a social business and adopting digital marketing and social media. So we're doing a lot of great stuff there. We just rolled out with a zombie commercial, which was pretty cool. Don't feed sales zombies. I'll link that in the chat so you can take a look at that. Very different approach to a car dealership commercial. It's really neat. I just linked it in there. Got a little bit into consulting, so now I'm doing some consulting for some people, and now I'm also I'm the community editor at drivingsales.com, which is an automotive blog / magazine that goes out to dealers across the country. So, and then I got kind of a big announcement coming in a month or two also, which will be pretty cool, that I've been working on for a month or so, but I'll be announcing that publicly here in about a month. Actually, a couple
nice.
weeks.
Is that personal or professional?
A little both. A little both. So.
You're marrying your boss?
Yeah, my boss. Yeah. Right.
I was gonna say that too.
No, that'd be a little weird.
Okay.
No, but let's just sum up. Crichton will have to leave meeting just to say, I gotta go do a photo shoot. So Crichton's been doing well.
No, I'm not doing underwear.
For the other two people on.
That's
no. But for the other people on here, Pat and Victor, you guys left us a long time ago, and I'd love to hear what you guys have been up to and hear, how much in social media you still are and how much you decided to stay out. I know a little bit about Pat. So I'm going to start with Victor, and we're going to leave Pat for last. Victor, tell us what you've been up to.
A lot's happened in the past year. Everything from getting married, moving to a new state, transitioning, into a full-time corporate social media position, and now I'm currently transitioning out of it, kind of doing my own thing. In summation, the past year's been, it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work. And but at the same time, it's probably been, I guess, what I'd have to label probably the most important year of my life. Things are good. Even though I was out of the SocialBlade context there, I'm definitely not out of the social media context. I was spearheading social media stuff at Village West Media for a while, and I'm still working with them, just in a very different capacity, mostly as a independent contractor. Things have been really good. Been missing the SocialBlade show, not in terms of actually watching it. I have watched it quite a bit, but missing kind of being part of that, because when you're part of a weekly podcast with great people such as yourselves, it's a lot of fun, and also it's great because it gets you to interact with the audience, with the people, with the stuff that we're actually passionate about, and to some extent. We're all passionate about social media, whether it's in Dig, in Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, like whatever platform or platforms you love to use the most. I mean, the beauty of it is that we're all interconnected. And now with the advent of Google+, it gives us a whole new way to kind of connect and reconnect with the people that we like, with the people that we want to engage with. And so, it's an exciting time to be interested in social media. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I regret, but I wish, one of the things that I really wish happened is, as I kind of started coming on the show, you were starting to leave, you had a lot going on. I wish we had more time and, get to know each other at that, during the show that past year to really hit at it and to have good conversation. But, it's great to have you back on now. Hear what you're up to.
It's cool. I had nothing but respect for you guys, and I just, I saw the show kind of evolving, doing its thing. That's kind of the nature of things, especially when you get some fresh people in there. And I felt what you guys were doing was great. It was pretty awesome, and I felt that you guys just kind of had it handled, and I kind of started, I guess, transitioning out of that phase. But at the same time, I was really busy. I was planning a wedding, working a full-time job, and it was really hard to kind of juggle everything at once, and it's good. It was great to see you guys grow. SocialBlade, at any rate, no matter who was involved at any given Thursday night, was something to see and it was something to be a part of, whether you're a host or whether you're someone who's just passionate about social media, that there was a place in that sort of SocialBlade community for you. And that's what's really was great about it for me, was witnessing that process, you know, and getting to see you guys contribute, in my opinion, a lot to that community, you know.
Right on, man. Patrick.
Victor?
Yes.
In other words, you kept your hair short and Jeff Suxers. Okay, so Pat. No. He laughed because of Jeff. No. We're just kidding. Pat, I'd love to know what you've been up to.
Well, basically, let me just start off by saying that I was actually honored that Victor. I went to Colorado for some work, and was honored by the fact that Victor and his lovely wife Helena picked me up and took me out to dinner. We hung out for a little while, had some drinks. It was great meeting them. Yes, Kate and Alan and Miss Linda, he's lost some weight and he's looking good. You know, married life's doing him good. When I left the show, oh my God, I can't believe I'm getting an ad right now. Driving me nuts.
Wow, I'm so glad that I don't have to
okay,
do
as long as you're hearing me, I'll talk through it.
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
You keep talking. It's on Ustream. Just get rid of your Ustream.
That's what I'm gonna do. All right, hang tight.
Well, while you're getting rid of that,
I got rid of it. It's
okay,
done.
Go ahead,
All right. I left and we did a show called Band on the Web, and during the show, football season started, and I got involved with the kids, and I really love coaching football, and that's where I ultimately ended up. And being called Banned on the Web is because I was banned from several different networks, several different times, several different names, and it's okay. It's fine. The last straw, when I was closing in on 100,000, what do you call it on Reddit?
Karma.
Yeah, 100,000 points on Karma. I was like at 90, 95, 98 or something like that, and I got banned again. And I just kind of gave up, and I'm not doing social media anymore. I do Facebook. I'm a poker. I'm trying to figure out Google Plus.
Yes, you are.
And I even get on Twitter every now and again. But other than that, I really don't get too much into anything else. That's pretty much it. I'm lost with all the discussions about the infographics. I knew they were cool. I got into them. I knew they were popular. They did well on Dig. They did well, not so much on Reddit, but they did well. Kind of figuring it out. I don't know. I'm just kind of done with social media. I love the people that I'm close with. There's certain groups that I love dealing with and talking to, and miss talking with them. You guys included. But other than that, I'm pretty much done with Dig. I know we haven't really touched much on it right now. Dig really destroyed itself, and that's all on them. I won't go back. I won't dig.
Did you see Kevin Rose's tweet?
he can tweet he can tweet whatever he wants. I changed myself.
What did he say?
I changed it, Victor.
What's the CEO of TechCrunch? His name?
That would be what's his face, Michael Arrington.
Yeah. So he tweets Michael Arrington, and he says, "You go back to the old TechCrunch layout, and I'll go back to Dig version 3."
I mean, it's obviously I just think it's great that Kevin Rose can poke fun at the fact that he tanked a company in terms of like their value. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can look back on that experience and be like, you know what? It was an utter disaster. And now he's poking fun at Mike with the recent TC design. But I think it's good that Kevin's kind of past. He's past nursing that wound. He's got milk coming up. He's got his hands in a crap load of great hot startups, and he's doing his thing as a angel investor. Interesting.
It's just funny that he makes fun of the fact.
And Amy makes a good point. Kevin probably never felt any wound when Dig did tank. It definitely didn't keep him up at night. He turned his back on the community in more than a few ways, and he didn't really take it upon himself to make changes. He hadn't even really been involved in running the company kind of behind the doors for a long time up until that point anyway. So
him taking over was the worst thing ever.
If you look on the screen, actually, I saw this today. Someone put together something that you can actually turn TechCrunch back to the old version, as well as change it to other versions.
Ooh, Hacker News version. That's awesome.
Yeah. So here's the TechCrunch Times, like the New York Times version. Here's the
Hacker News version pounds.
Yeah, that's where I actually found this on Hacker News. I love Hacker News. And then we got the Google Plus version over here. And then the old version again, old TechCrunch.
Let me ask you all your opinion. Cool. I'd like to know, did Kevin Rose screw up Dig, or did he just give up on it?
It was both, a little bit of both. I think that ultimately, when he launched the redesign, that in a way he was giving up on the original vision of Dig. What Dig kind of turned into after V4 was nothing like what Dig was philosophically, at least back in the day. Two totally different products, two totally different, I think, end game experiences. If you're if you're a social news junkie like me. That once Dig kind of stepped forward towards V4, they weren't really Dig. The only thing that was remaining the same fundamentally was the name and the sort of brand that it was, at least in my opinion.
Kevin seems, just from don't know the guy, probably don't interact with the guy, but, just kind of viewing him, seems very much the type of person that acts kind of very quickly without thinking things very thorough. And, recently how he... basically said, I'm not using KevinRose.com anymore, and moved his blog over to G+. At that moment in time when he went to version 4, he was really enamored with Twitter and the way Twitter worked. And I think he was really trying to get Dig to be more like Twitter.
Okay, Jeff, I agree. Now, was he enamored with Twitter, or was he starstruck with the way that he climbed the ranks as much as people like Ashton Kutcher, Demi Moore, Alyssa Milano?
To be honest, I think he's
Don't you think that had something to do with it?
I think he was very much, and obviously don't know the guy, but I think he was very much of, he liked something, he saw something he liked, he saw something that, for Twitter he could build upon, and loved the philosophy of Twitter, and really tried to implement some of that stuff into Dig, and it just killed it.
Well, actually, before Dig was killed with version 4, Twitter was integrated with it. And they used that to actually manipulate the voting by, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but they used it to monitor the amount of tweets that people used to try and get a front page.
So essentially, the community itself didn't have as much as a weight as what was happening off the site.
Yeah, well, if you saw a good story and you tweeted it and it got retweeted a lot, there was a link, and I forget the last two characters. There's I don't know, an ampersand and a question mark at the end, where you could take that off to hide it from Dig that you were tweeting it out, but it also left, if you didn't get rid of it, it also let Dig know that you were tweeting it out, and it was getting retweeted. If you were popular, let's just say a Red Sadler or I don't know, somebody like that tweeted something that didn't have that back link, those last two characters, it popped. He's done it for me a couple times.
Yeah.
So, and that's where someone that had 100,000 followers would come in and help you get to a front page.
I I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I don't think that Kevin Rose necessarily didn't care anymore. I think he wanted to expand outside of. Well, no, I think he wanted to expand. I think he might have, or the company might have felt a little bit threatened by what was going on with the other social networks and how popular they were becoming. And I think what happened instead was they tried to implement something. They thought it was going to work. They thought it was going to expand outside of the big name Dig users, and they were going to be able to expel the gaming of the system. But I don't think they knew how to properly do it. I don't think they knew how to actually follow through on the action. And I think, and I've said it before in past when we've had different shows, is that, I think what happened was they just completely disregarded their community. They just completely thought everybody was gaming the system, and they didn't really understand, I think, the impact that the big Dig users did have on the site altogether. And therefore, it did ultimately fail. And then I think Kevin didn't care. But I don't think that when he first tried to implement something new that he didn't care. I think he just didn't know how to actually follow through. Mm-hmm. But those are my thoughts.
Dig's a weird subject because, I think ultimately, that V4 ultimately wasn't really what Kevin wanted. I think that he got a lot of bad advice, specifically from people like Michael Arrington, who kept telling him that, hey, the biggest problem that you have with Dig is your user base. And then they started catering towards, large publishers, very large publishers, well-known publishers online, and other kind of businesses and people who wanted to launch sort of official accounts. And I think Dig promised these entities a lot. They promised them page views, they promised them conversions, they promised them pretty much the world. And
100% agree.
And then when the community saw what was going on and didn't want to be behind that, it collapsed on itself. That I remember at a certain point initially, Mashable was really one of the only publications getting any sort of love, and it wasn't even real love, it was automated love.
Right.
And any time that you have to sort of quasi-automate those processes on the behalf of publishers or behalf of people who supposedly have interesting content, that ultimately, that's just not a good idea to force that on the community, because that's the whole point of Dig, was that it was community-curated content. And any time when, corporate interests, large businesses, large publications start basically weighing in on what gets seen, what gets popular, you're fundamentally skewing the core idea of Dig, which is a community-oriented news filter, not just an algorithm, a filter that people are ultimately liking and digging what they want to see on the front page, what they think is worth reading, what they think is really hot on the web. And unfortunately, they ceased to continue to do that once they started pandering to the larger, more corporate publisher interests.
No,
and I completely agree with that. And a lot of what Amy's saying on in the chat right now is making complete sense too. They really tried to fix something that wasn't broken, and they didn't take any value in its users. And that's the biggest mistake you can make on a social network. Period. That's it. You're right, Amy. You're absolutely right. And it's unfortunate that Pat doesn't know what curate means.
Well, I kind of side on the fact with Alan here. Does anyone else think that the Dig algorithm is gone and Dig admins are pushing buttons to determine the pops? I don't necessarily agree with that, but I know that they're still banning sites. I know that they're still controlling to a degree what gets put up on there. And I honestly believe that they let certain things slip through. I think that's always, there's always going to be something where it's being controlled.
And Pat, I personally think that there is a monkey with a button, and it's randomly pressing the button, and every time it presses the button, a random ass story gets put on the front page. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening.
Oh, okay. I don't really understand. Obviously, I don't really understand all the ins and outs on that. But to me, Dig is dead. I'm done with it. It's the biggest reason why I was in social media. It's doing these shows was all based on Dig, and I'm kind of finished with it, and therefore I'll just stick with Facebook and go with Google Plus and Gmail. My friends on Gmail, not the people. I almost said something, Margo. Not the people that hit me with 15 links and want me to do a part-time job for them for free. Uh, that's it. And it, like a lot of people, including like Victor said, you sit there and you go to Dig and you find out what's new and going on like that. Why would you change that and blow it up in such a way that no one even wants to deal with it anymore?
Did Kevin Rhodes really see? Okay, here are two things. Twitter didn't become like really mainstream until the celebrities and some of the big publishers and stuff adopted it. Now, did Kevin say, okay, well, Dig isn't mainstream, and I want to take it there by doing that, by opening it up to celebrities and publishers, or did he really just want to get rid of the power users and cater to them?
No, not at all did he want to cater to power users. I mean, Victor will tell you, they went Mashable and just blew Andy out of the water, Mr. Baby Man. They got rid of him. They took him out of the game.
Yeah, that was a turning point for me.
He was getting more hype than the site was because he was a key to social media.
Yeah, and that was a turning point for me. Was that at the certain time when Andy basically became, when his role was diminished, because that guy would go out of his way to get the internet's best content and post it on Dig, and when he has zero incentive to contribute to Dig as a platform, I'm pretty sure that's when they reached the point of no return. That's when obviously things changed for the worse in a big way, and ultimately Dig kind of died for me a little bit that day, and I really started using Reddit. I'm a religious Reddit user. People who know me know that I love Reddit. I'm on it every day just because, if I had to choose between using Reddit and Dig, I'd use Reddit. There's more tools there to create a community that you actually want to start, whether it's on video games, whether it's on building PCs, it doesn't matter. The ability to create specific communities around specific topics is great. Dig is, don't get me wrong, their technology is really cool. I've met a lot of people who work for Dig, and there's some amazing people behind Dig now that they're doing some really cool stuff. They're working hard, but at the same time, I'm not sure they're giving us enough tools to create communities around certain interests. That it's all sort of general at the moment, like general, this is what's hot on the web, which is fine because it worked for them in the past. I'm just not sure that's really enough. Because anyone who uses Reddit for any extensive amount of time will tell you that there's a lot of value in engaging in communities, like little sub-communities, around stuff that you actually care about. And that's why I like Reddit as opposed to Dig, which, although it's a lot of fun, doesn't present to me the news in a way that I felt was effective or efficient or interesting. At least not as it once was.
So, Victor, if they went back...
Honestly, wait, I'm sorry, Jeff. Let me just interrupt real quick and say that Dig doesn't care about the user. They don't care what kind of content you bring. They want to be the ones in control. And, I've had collectively over 1,000 pops and helped many other people to get pops as well. And yet they wanted nothing to do with me. Then all of a sudden, when the user didn't matter, you can bring back any account you want. We don't care if you have multiple accounts anymore. I've had emails from them. I'm like, well, I do this and blah, blah. They don't care. They really don't care. You weren't getting there. The publishers, TechCrunch, Mashable, they were all getting there. It's unfortunate because a lot of sites have to work extra hard to get things to the point where they have to watch the site every day to manipulate what goes on.
Yeah, I'm almost done really talking about Dig. I feel that it's kind of the same story over and over again. Everybody already knows what's up. You're either kind of using it or you're not at this point. And they're kind of in the process of rebuilding their social media product. I mean, they're constantly changing things, adding kind of small, detailed-oriented improvements, and that's great. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm probably going to use Dig for as long as it's around. But at the same time, it's just not the same. And I think as much as we can talk about it, they're they're on their own path. That the people in charge of Dig are doing their own thing right now.
Well, the one thing that has grown substantially since all of us have been together is clout. And it's been sort of amazing how they've grown their platform as being, kind of the standard for social media influence metrics, especially across, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and now they just adopted Foursquare. I'm starting to really see clout in the like-minded of social metrics, influence metrics, as really, and I'll say it slightly, like a big, dick measuring contest between like the lower to middle class social media user out there. And all it really is it really is really degrading, community and in communication to becoming just this all about me, and really deranging the fact that, and I get that, competition and climbing the social hierarchy is part of human nature, but when you start putting like a numeric value to that and add some perks to it, and you have that standardized over entire social platforms, it really starts to derange that and magnify it.
You know what, my thought on clout is when I used to see it a while ago, and then you reintroduced it to me again. You're like, oh, have you checked your clout? Let's check our clout. And then you kind of made JD feel bad and made him a little obsessed with it for a while. But when I think of clout, I enjoy it, but I enjoy it lightly. I don't take it so seriously that it's like, wow, it's the be-all and end-all of what's going on. So basically, when I look at my cloud, I'm like, that's a great number, but really, what does it mean? I don't really know, except it's pulling information, and it's like, I do question sometimes. I wish they had somewhere on there that it just completely breaks it down bit by bit, because for some of us that are on social networks all the time, it's like, wow, that number kind of sits there for a while. But I do like the integration of all the various social networks. I like that they're adapting Foursquare, and I think it's a fun place to go. And now they've changed it up. They've given it a new look, and they've been able to allow us as peers to plus K somebody in certain categories, which is great, because peer-to-peer recommendation is what we need. Hey, Uners. So, I think clout is great, but I think it's just not something that is like the be-all and end-all of, okay, I'm going to look somebody up. If they have a high score, that means something. I don't know. I don't see it like I think I once did.
I just have a question. I understand how clout works with Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn, but how does it work with Foursquare exactly? Like, do you get points for being mayor of more places or something? Is that how? Like, I don't understand why they would integrate that. Jeff, you were.
I think what they're really trying to do is, I think they look at, all the platforms and finding commonalities between each of them. So what I think they're really trying to do is not how much Foursquare changes the numeric value, but does Foursquare validate some of that? So if I'm friends with Ergo, and I'm connected with him on LinkedIn, and I'm following him on Twitter, and he's following me, and I'm connected with him on Facebook, and I'm connected with him on Twitter, and he has a great amplification, then that is sort of cementing that I might be part of a group, a community of strong influence. So I think it's doing is really checking and balancing and seeing, okay, well, this person's connected with this person on multiple platforms, not just this one. So his community, his value is much more important.
For me, for example, I'll connect with anyone on Twitter and Facebook and things like that. But on Foursquare, I don't connect with people on there because I do like to use Foursquare, but I like to keep my check-ins actually private. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference between where you actually physically are and what you're saying about whatever. So I don't know. I don't like that they're integrating with Foursquare, to be honest.
Yeah, visiting relatives.
Well,
300 miles from my house.
You are.
Visiting relatives, 300 miles from my house.
It's just about.
Go ahead, Aaron. I'm not going to get it out. I'm sorry.
I think. No, we heard you. We heard you twice.
I didn't finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that. Okay, you go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Get it out. Okay. Are you sure? Okay. I think it's just about how active you are in Foursquare. I really do like the peer-to-peer recommendations. I like that, it does show what you are really good at or what categories you fall in. But I can be honest, like, Clout messes up sometimes because it says that, I know certain things that I really have no idea about, and I don't really know how they calculated that. So, I take it for face value. That's it. Like, I think a lot of people take it really seriously. Like, they're like, oh my God, what's your clout? I think in a fun way, yeah, it's great. But, like, if people are like, wow, clout is the be all and end all, then I don't see it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything to add,
So what's
Victor?
your clout score, Jeff? No.
53.
Well, Clout's interesting because it's just one of a few kind of social measurement tools, and I think they play towards a certain part of the psyche of the average social media user. Someone who uses Twitter and Facebook religiously, maybe they use Foursquare a lot as well, or Gowalla, whatever. And I think, products like Clout that sometimes there's almost a little too much stock put into them, and that's why I've really been interested in looking at products like Empire Avenue, because instead of this automated rating based upon how many followers or how what your amplification or influence
just the quantity.
Is, well, no, it's just Empire Avenue forces other people to kind of give that to you, to sort of say, hey, this is someone that I follow on Twitter who I think matters, who I think has interesting things to say. And it's not exactly falling on deaf ears, and so there's this kind of duality. There's the automated sort of you're influential, here you go, kind of validate yourself, and then there's products like Empire Avenue, which it kind of gives you social capital in a different way, not just in a I tweet this is how many people click through way, but in a people really do believe that you have an impact and that there's a way for them to sort of tie into this measurement, and so ultimately I think all these tools is kind of they're great, they're good for kind of seeing where we're at, but at the same time it's not just about who follows us and how many people we reach. I think a lot of the times in social media, something that kind of gets swept under the rug is that we're mostly defined by who we follow, not necessarily who follows us. Because who we follow shows what we're interested in, shows us the kind of people that we want to connect with, and I think that a lot of these kind of measurement tools or social reach tools, they kind of don't really address that at all. That it'll look at things like ratio, but I know some people who follow just as many people, if not more people than follow them, but I consider them highly influential in their categories, for certain subjects, for certain genres, for certain kind of realms, if you will, online. And I think that a lot of these measurement tools really they do a bad job of taking that into account. So do I put a lot of stock into my cloud score? Not really. But sure, it's cool if it's high, or higher than average, whatever. But at the same time, I don't believe it to be the end-all, be-all in terms of measuring us as social beings on the web. I
agree. Yeah, you're right. I didn't really take that into account. I mean, I like Empire Avenue. I think it's fun, and I really enjoy that people can buy stock, and you can buy stock in other people that you really do believe in. And again, it comes back to that peer-to-peer recommendation. But you're right. I mean, it does. We don't really take value where people are being noted for more of who they're being followed by instead of who they're actually following and who they're being influenced by that way. So yeah, I think you're right in that sense, and I think that we need to be seeing more of like what communities are we choosing to be a part of instead of what communities are choosing to be a part of with us. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? Because I think it's sounding crazy. But,
no, and I understand what you're saying, Aaron.
It's missing that. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think essentially that's kind of summing up just sort of one of the downfalls of social measurement tools, because let's say you're a business and you can't really count on a product like Clout to tell you how effective your business is at reaching people, because ultimately what's effective is amounting to things like conversions, measuring actual results, which something like Clout just simply doesn't do. And that's all I'll really kind of say about that, for now. I'm not sure it's great, like it's fun to have, it's cool to check out. I'm just not sure that it really impacts how businesses do business on the web.
So should it be kind of seen like The Daily Show is for like news? In the sense that some people take it as like pure news instead of like entertainment?
Well, that's the thing. I think the line between news and entertainment has fundamentally been blurred significantly, that it's all infotainment now. I mean, you look at any information outlet on the web, and it's not, a lot of the times you get straight news on just straight up news services, but I mean, with the introduction of blogs into a lot of these news agencies, it's not just news, it's entertainment, It's all about page views now. It's all about the AOL way, et cetera, et cetera.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes people are aiming for the wrong things. I mean, social media and social networks aren't really important when it comes to. Wait, I lost my train of thought there for a second. I was reading the chat. Okay, so I think that what happens is that we're trying to strive for a number again with those types of social measuring tools, instead of really seeing the value of connection and being able to actually just pump out information that is knowledgeable and being able to create relationships and talking with people. Whereas I think some people do it and they'll just tweet or Facebook or LinkedIn just to be able to bring that number up instead of still using it for the true value. It just comes down to the number game again, and I think I think we need to stay away from that as much as possible and just focus on, if it goes up, that's great, but that's not the point.
I mean, if I was applying for a job, I mean, the Clout score isn't something that I think is like essential for people's resumes nowadays. I mean, because ultimately I think if you're hiring someone kind of in the social media world, your Clout score can be sky high. Ultimately, it's about the kind of results that person brought in. What kind of, measuring the actual engagement, not just the overall score of the person at hand. Like, I think that there's other ways to measure how effective someone is in the social media sense than just looking at the Clout score. Obviously, the Clout score is some sort of indicator, but I think ultimately that you really have to dive a little deeper and look at someone's presence and see what kind of impact they've had in the physical sense, in the information sense, rather than just glossing over a Clout score.
Yeah, exactly. So Ergo, are we planning on taking any questions, or what is our plan? I think we lost Pat.
Yeah, no, I mean, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. We can answer anything, but I think we pretty much covered the main things here that we wanted to. So, yeah, if anyone has any, go right ahead and ask.
Yeah, we're just going to sit here and wait and stare at you guys until somebody asks a question, damn it.
I was actually just setting up this Empire Ave account on here. I hadn't actually used it before, but Victor got me interested.
It's interesting, man. You should check it out. I think that it gives a kind of different manifestation of social capital. Like, it kind of makes it a little more real in terms of, like, establishing a stock market amongst all your social media peers and being able to invest in people that you have faith in. You know what I mean? It's a very interesting premise. One that I've briefly checked out, haven't actually been very active on, but nonetheless, I think it points towards a kind of larger trend, which is that people like not just sharing stuff about themselves, but they like to showcase themselves. People like to be acknowledged. People like to be recognized. And these products like Clout and Empire Avenue ultimately play towards those sort of pieces. Like we're humans. We respond well to that. We respond well to praise and stuff. And so, things like Empire Avenue, which keeps it more on like a positive note, like I think does good in terms of rounding people up and making us think a little more about our social media interactivity and what we're really doing here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So we have some questions coming in. Gadas asked if we are going to have some future SocialBlade shows. Who wants to take that one?
Well, I guess I can.
We have a
sort of
short
answer
order.
for everyone here. Yeah, I don't think we're at least at the moment ready to do weekly shows again. But I don't know if you guys are up for it. I would say we should at least try to do this maybe once a month, get people on and sound off, about whatever's going on. And also, I mean, the YouTube site, as I was saying, is doing really well. So if people have questions about that, I'd be glad to answer any questions related to those as well.
Yeah, I think, when we were kind of talking about doing this is just, if we do, I know we're all like super busy, so a weekly show, we're not sure we can do, like in terms of prepping, like production-wise and having it formal, but something more of us coming on, Victor, if he has time, Ergo, Aaron, and I, and just jumping on and, spitting some knowledge and getting you guys on as well, again, so you guys can have a voice and share some of your knowledge as well. So I think that is where we would take it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, let's play it by ear. If it makes sense for people to get together and have a show and maybe let people know, and if they can do it. I mean, that's something I'd definitely be open to, but at the same time, I understand that life moves a mile a minute sometimes, and people are super busy, and so definitely open to whatever happens.
All right, Aaron. Any other questions?
Same here.
Victor, I think you should do voiceover for Book on Tape.
Yeah, it's going a little too fast.
No, I'm not sure.
You have like the
perfect
voice.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know.
so
I've heard good
Amish
things and bad things about my voice, but we'll see.
Go ahead, Aaron.
No, you do have a good voice. You do have a good voice. Amish Phone Book says, so do you think... let me see. It moved again. It's going too fast. So do you think Google Plus is going to surpass 10K? I think that was the question.
Wait, 10K?
No,
it passed 10 million today.
No, it was 10 million.
Sorry, 10 million. 10 million. You're right. Sorry, you're right. You know what? I absolutely think it will, especially when it opens up to the public. Mm-hmm. And even prior to that, it probably will. I mean, it's just...
I think the question was, do we think 10 million users is a lot? Is it very fast?
I mean, I think for 1 week in a quote-unquote beta phase, 10 million users is damn good.
I completely agree. That's a really great number that they got to so quick. I'm going to put up as a poll here, but I have a question. One of the next things that I'm going to be going to here is something called VidCon, which is a big YouTube conference in LA. It's 2 weeks from today. So I'm just wondering how many people are going to be going to there. So I put up a poll, but also drop something in the room if you're going as well, so you can make sure you can meet everyone here there. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
I am not going.
If I was a YouTuber, I'd go, but I unfortunately do not YouTube.
It looks like there's a couple people coming at least, so that'll be fun. We'll have to make sure to have SocialBlade fan group thingamajig or something over there.
Yeah, because did ask if we will ever do this face-to-face. Will we ever hold an event for SocialBlade?
We should do a SocialBlade meetup of sorts in a big city during a big tech conference, like maybe at South by Southwest next year. Like do a little informal SocialBlade meetup. I know a ton of people who'd come.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
I don't know if I'll be going to South by Southwest, but if anyone that is there, absolutely.
I just know that's a good place to do little informal meetups like that, just because, it's a wide spectrum of folks that go, and there's a lot of folks that I know and love that I know will be there pretty much every year, and I know they were fans of the show, and so it wouldn't be that hard if one of us was there to make it happen. So I'm just kind of putting that out there, that'd be like a perfect way to do it.
And I haven't been there before, so I would really love to experience it, because I watch it. I think it would be awesome to go.
You would have a lot of fun, Aaron. You would get to meet tons and tons of people that you've met online, and it's a hell of a time. I'll just say that much.
Yeah, I think it would be good. I mean, I really enjoyed Blog World, so I think it would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, similar in a lot of ways, but yeah, you would love them.
Yeah, I think South by Southwest is more like a lot more of the startup aspect, and I really would enjoy that part of it, being able to experience it and see it, and then watch some interviews and things like that. Whereas Blog World was more, sitting in a room and listening to people talk, and then saying more within a bigger auditorium. But I really did love the exhibition, so I think I would really enjoy the South by Southwest one too. And I think that's all the questions. I hope I got them, because it was still moving, so I hope I got the questions. Oh, someone asked, how do you get your first job in social media?
Who is that to?
It keeps moving.
I don't really have a job in social media, so that's not really for me. Aaron, you have a job in social media.
I do. So does Jeff, and I believe Victor, you have one too, right?
I guess I got my first paying job in social media back in, I want to say the end of 2005, and it was technically social media in the sense that it was online, and it had to do with marketing on forums and places like MySpace and stuff. This is before Facebook and Twitter. And it was for a state Senate candidate. I was studying politics, and I was doing a project on policy, government, activism, and the web. And obviously you can't talk about the web in a political context without talking about how it's a springboard for idea exchanges and discussion and stuff. And someone randomly reached out to me because they heard about my project, and they basically would pay me to research social platforms. And at the time, it was forums, things like image boards, like 4chan and stuff. And it was very interesting. And I wasn't even really doing social media at the time, but I guess that was technically my first job. But the first of many, I guess I would say.
Yeah, that was Pure Cognition that asked that question. And she wanted to, or he wanted to know from anyone who it applies to. So, yes, I have a job in social media, and I got it actually through SocialBlade. So, and that was my extent of social media, and now transitioning into another phase within that job come Monday. So I'm really excited about that. If you haven't heard of Hesai, you should check it out, hesai.com. Jeff Kreider is within social media as well, but he's in a different aspect of it, aren't you, Jeffy?
Yeah. Purely kind of from the marketing standpoint of it. So I was hired on to run the Facebook page at a car dealership, and saw it as an opportunity to blossom it into something more, and just saw it as the stepping stones to more. So was doing a lot of just kind of being a sponge out of college and really absorbing it all and seeing that the opportunity was there, and came on board and blossomed it into something and just continued being a sponge.
Nice. That's the way to do it. I mean, because when you're in college, you're very motivated, you're eager to learn, and when you're out of it and you have nothing but time to pursue what you want to do, usually, I mean, it's a lot of fun,
And here's the funny thing. I guess the conception is I actually got into social media by accident because I subscribed to the wrong RSS feed. And when I started getting, I wanted to be a media planner and buyer. And I was trying to subscribe to the media planning and buying feed. I accidentally subscribed to the at the time it was called New Media. I can't remember what it was called, but I started getting things on how Facebook was for business and social media, and I was like, wow, this is good. There's something here. And then I started diving into it and really getting serious about it.
Nice. Yeah, social media, very good for business if you go about it the right way. Gotta say that much.
Definitely is. And what's cool is my social media job is how I met Jeff, was in his social media job.
Nice.
Which I think is another cool feature there. So it's all social media. And how do you do it? So the question was, how do you get your first, networking and talking to various people within social media, understanding the influencers, and I think getting yourself published as well would be a good way.
I think, and you make a good point there, and I mean, understanding kind of the lay of the land, how the social media landscape is evolving constantly, are big advantages. I mean, if you're in the market for a social media position, if you can demonstrate not just the value, but the fact that you understand how these platforms work, how they're going to change, and how they kind of factor in to the marketing efforts for a company, a business, individual, startup, whatever, then you shouldn't have that much. You shouldn't have a hard time landing a job. If that's the case, if you know your role, if you know how things work, and if you know how they factor into value propositions for businesses and stuff, I mean, that's pretty key.
Yeah, to me, social media is a skill set, not so much a job. It's the ability to utilize social media and to understand the complexities of it and how it works in the overall ecosystem of like a marketing campaign or a business. Because what you'll find, and what I found really right off the bat, was diving into social media and transcending your business from just Facebook page or Twitter account to really adopting what Jeremiah Ouyang calls like a social business is just as much internal as it is external.
Oh yeah.
And you slowly become not only the Facebook coordinator, but you really focused on education, training, processes, procedures, all kinds of inner workings, change agent, getting people to buy in to the notion of becoming a social business. So having a job like this is not just knowing how to set up a Facebook account or Twitter, and there are jobs that that specifically note to that. But if you're looking at a real marketing perspective, or you want a bigger role, it's really how does this work into the overall ecosystem of my business in a
You're completely right, Jeff, and I think that's pretty. You kind of summed it up nicely, and that's how does social media apply to this venture? How do we use it to boost conversions, to boost sales, to boost engagement rankings? Because at the same time, it's not just about the profiles, it's not just about the presence, it's about how those kind of platforms and mechanisms factor into the business model, factor into what the business is trying to fundamentally achieve. And that's the thing. That's the beauty of social media. There's no one way to apply it to each business. Each business is its own deal. It's that you use Facebook and Twitter in very much so similar ways, but at the same time in fundamentally different ways. Depending on the business at hand. I mean, you can't apply the same strategy you'd use for like the New York Times to, let's say, Google or Microsoft. That you have to tailor these fundamental core ideas into their very specific and complex at times businesses.
Yeah, and that's why
it's funny because I
was going to say real quick.
I was just going to say.
Go ahead.
All I was going to say was the mention of the synergy. I was waiting for you to say it. That is your word. I love it when you say it, so I was waiting for you to say it. And I was thinking, he's not going to say it, and then boom, you did say it.
Yeah, synergy, man. It's synergy. It's how everything is synergized together. I mean, it's so important. What I was going to say is that's why I do some consulting on the side for car dealerships to kind of help car dealerships understand social media and understand how it can fit into their business. And one of the things I kind of talk to them is, don't always look for like a social media rock star or, social media rock stars and social media, quote unquote celebrities out there might not always be the best for your business, because while they understand like the social media and they understand how to build a following on Twitter and Facebook, they might not understand how the internal components work, and they might not understand how to take what is they're doing online and profitize it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I completely agree, Jeff, because people that use the word expert and guru, I just wouldn't trust them at all. And that doesn't mean that they're not trustworthy. It's just that in my view, I just see like using the word expert, it's just that social media, there is no experts. It's constantly changing. There's people that, like you said, it's a skill set. Yes, you have to be passionate in order to work in this field, absolutely passionate, and being able to work long hours. And don't be afraid to do something for free. Doing something for free goes a long way, and people do start talking. That doesn't mean allow people to overuse you and abuse you within it. But getting your own name out there as an exchange to having your name associated to something that's social media is something that will definitely be beneficial for you come that interview time with your job. So I think we pretty much covered that. Pat's back. Welcome back, Pat.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I think we pretty much covered that aspect of it. Yeah, we can hear you, Pat.
Okay.
Ergo, you there?
I am here.
Good to go.
So I guess unless you guys have any final words, we might want to start wrapping up here for the night, I think. Anyone else have anything last they would like to, I guess, bring up? Any one last topic?
I'm good.
All right. Well, I guess first off, I wanted to really thank...
I don't have any
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, I don't have any topics. I just wanted to say, while I can, first of all, thank you so much to everyone that donated in helping Mario Marathon this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it was for a wonderful charity.
Yeah, with everyone's help.
And Ergo came up with this great idea.
I think there's a delay here. With everyone's help, Aaron, we raised, I think it was $1,400 or something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was $1,400.
That's an amazing amount. The Mario Marathon was a great cause.
That's awesome.
No, Mario Marathon was not my idea.
It was an awesome cause, and no.
The Mario Marathon.
No,
just,
the
just
idea.
So
this is what I was going to say.
A huge delay here. I'm sorry, Aaron. We keep talking over each other. If you're not watching on or listening on the Hangout, make sure you are there. Anyway, the Mario Marathon, what it was is it was these guys that played video games and raised money for the Child's Play charity. And Child's Play was a charity that basically donated video games, books, toys, and things like that to sick kids in children's hospitals. So, I mean, with everyone's help, we really helped out, I think, a lot of kids. So, thank you, everyone that did participate in that. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, so since we're not going to talk over each other now, there's a major delay there. I just wanted to say that it was really a fun weekend. Ergo and I spent a lot of that weekend just pumping out a lot of links. So thanks for your tolerance amongst the social networks. But again, Ergo came up with the idea to raise money and for us to push out this year. Since last year and the year before that, I think we had them on the SocialBlade show.
We had them on every
year. And Jeff contributed to that as well.
Aaron, just sorry to interrupt you for a second.
I also wanted to...
we actually, I believe, had them on the very first SocialBlade episode, right after we finished the Mario Marathon 1. So they've been with SocialBlade ever since we were for the show, at least.
Cool.
Right, and so we didn't want to fail them this year, and you guys most certainly didn't. $1,400 is a lot of money, and you've helped a lot of kids. So, just so I can just finish, we can wrap it up. I do want to thank every one of you that still continue to support, not just me, but everybody else here within social media on the various social networks. I have seen that, since SocialBlade ended, that you guys have continued to be a very supportive group and have been very, in touch with us and stayed friends with us and communicating with us and connecting with us. So I appreciate it, and I enjoy every single one of you guys, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
So Aaron, while you have the floor, can you tell people where they can find you going forward? If people want
Sure, you can find me on Twitter as @TheAaronRyan. You can also find me on G+. Although, you know what? I didn't customize my link yet, but I will. So you can find me on there just as Erin Ryan. And you can also check out my blogs. One is theerinryan.com, as well as Socializer, which isn't spelt Socializer the proper way. It's spelled SocialBladezer.com. And that's how you can connect with me.
And if you want to find Patrick, all you have to do is listen for a squeaky chair.
Yeah. Or
that's all you have to
find me on Facebook, Patrick Paris. That's pretty much all I do right now. I do Google Plus. You can find me the same way. Genocide 312.
He will poke you.
You can't poke in Google
I'm
Plus.
a poker. Yeah, that's a bad thing, but they'll work on it.
Yet.
All right, Jeff. What about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me at www.4-life.com, jeffkreider.com, Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, LinkedIn, and now Instagram, which awesome community, by the way, and obviously on Google Plus.
Victor.
I'm kind of, everywhere, but at the same time, not anywhere. But I am using a lot of Google Plus, so go ahead and find me there. Just look for Victor Barrera. I'm kind of the only one on there, at least according to Google.
And all the relevant links will be there as well, right?
They will be. I also do like to tweet. So find me at VTBARRERA, at VT Barrera, there pretty frequently. And that's kind of it, I'd say. I mean, I'm on Reddit, but there's no need to follow my every move on Reddit.
All right, I guess I'll go last here now. You can definitely find me on Twitter, twitter.com/ergo. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/ergo. And lastly, Google Plus. You can connect to me there at plus.ergo.org. That's sort of the short way to get to me there. And, if you like these live shows, I actually have been doing a lot of hangouts on Google Plus. So, I mean, you can have impromptu SocialBlade shows all the time. Just follow me over there. Or circle me. I don't know the correct term for there. I guess you say to circle me?
Circle me.
It just sounds weird.
Yeah, it's so odd. But, I do like how they played off. It's nice how they played off, hey, you know what? You have different circles of people in your life.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. So, I just really wanted to thank our audience here, everyone that's been in the chat room and interacting here. Thank you for tuning in and supporting us over the years. Oh, I guess also don't forget to check out SocialBlade itself. We have a page on Facebook and also on Twitter, Facebook or twitter.com/SocialBlade. And just check out the site as well, socialblade.com. You'll find the YouTube stats there. Dig still shows up also. So just enjoy SocialBlade. Get the evil laugh from Pat. All right, so thank you, everyone, and just keep in touch, and we'll definitely do another live show again sometime soon, probably sometime in August. I'm gonna say. And I forget, how do we always end these? It was something like. Don't forget, because I don't know.
Till next time, we are SocialBlade.
We are.
Remember?
Yes.
Well, you gotta come up with something.
I don't know what camera to look at. I got two cameras here, so.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we are SocialBlade.
SocialBlade.